I took $5 to $200,000 for investor last week, while this guy took $9 to $40,000, and I'm going to be stealing and teaching his strategy. So basically, I'm going to go back in time and explain everything he did to amount to the decision that he made. So first thing first, I want to mark the exact point he entered at, and it was 332840. So basically that's the first point he entered, and then I'm going to go back to the day whereby he entered the position, which is basically a few weeks ago. That's literally on the 16th of July, and the time whereby he entered the position was around 9 o'clock or something. That's it. This is basically how it looks like, and basically on 1 day time frame, but that was not the time frame he was on. He was on 1 hour time frame. So basically I've switched the time frame now to 1 hour time frame, and I'm going to be breaking down every single thing he saw and every single thing he did that gave him entry. And the first step was that spring there. You can see that there was a spring forming around that point there, and then when we go to each one time frame, you will see that this was where the volume or the momentum was coming from. And if your entry, your zone does not have an active force or point whereby volume is coming from, is not going to hold. So basically you get where the volume is coming from, and then you want to capitalize on the continuation. So how was he able to get sell entries around that point? First thing first, he wants to make sure you know where he's going to sell from is reinforced by multiple rejection on H4 time frame and on M30 time frame, which is 30-minute time frame. You can see that something like rejection or liquidity was forming below the point where it's going to sell from, and even before it sells, there was a displacement, which is when price move impulsively to the up or downside in a very short span of time. Like in 1 minute is up there, in the next 1 minute is down there, and basically after the displacement, you can see how price was expecting every single structure that was forming there. It was expecting every structure perfectly. That's to show you that after price liquidates the low of that displacement, there's a high probability that it is going to spike down and respect every single structure that is forming below the displacement, and that's what it did. You can see it was expecting every single structure that was forming around that displacement, and then what happened? There was the aggressive spike down there. But basically, where was the sniper entry? So basically sniper entry was on this 15-minute supply zone there. You can see it was perfectly respected. Even the structure before price respected the 15-minute entry was perfectly respected also. So basically this is when the guy was selling, and that's where he entered at. You can see he was entering aggressively, and basically this guy, I'm sure he used multiple like very high leverage, like maybe unlimited leverage. You can see from that $9 he was able to get $5,000 on the first trade, and on the second trade basically he used another strategy, and this strategy that he used was on this second green line there. You can see that on H4 time frame, on this green line there, price was respecting every structure on this green line. It respected it at this point again, and also if you go to the side, it respected this point too. At this moment in time, you can see he respected that point there, and that point where it is respecting was literally a sniper entry. So I'm going to drop down to lower time frame and explain how I was able to get entry. But if I was the one taking this trade, what I was going to do is I was going to capitalize on that candle there. I was going to make sure I spam at this point in time, which is at that breaker block there, which looks like is something like a support or resistance. I'll make sure I spam at this point to, like, this is literally a breaker block there. This guy did not utilize this point here. You can see this was the perfect entry. The guy just entered one position and spammed all the way, but me, I would have capitalized of this order here. I'd have capitalized on, like, if I go higher, you can see this is another order here, this is another breaker block. I would have spam as I'm making profit. I would have spam again, and then I would have spammed again at this point in time here. And if I had done this, I'll be working with nothing less than $200K with all this move. But him, what he did is he used this 3 candlestick formation to get his entry. So that was the sign, and then he went to lower time frame to, like, you know, refine this entry. So this was basically his entry point there. You can see that was like a liquidity trap. So if you want this result last week, like literally something like this, click link in description, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So basically at this moment in time, the guy wasn't swimming in profit, and I won't suggest you trade like this, but at least it works.